I'm so sorry, I forgot to unmute my mic. I'll begin again. Hi, all you wisdom walkers out there. This is Jojo Maria and Saroma coming to you with Wisdom Walk Talk for the month of May. And the last 2 days here where I am, it had been beautiful blue skies, 80-degree weather, just wonderful. And now it's raining out and it's like 49 degrees. So I'm in a laid back mood today. I just have my little t-shirt jammies on. I didn't feel like getting dressed up. Forgive me, but it's good because, when the rain comes, it just helps us relax more. And I have a wonderful topic to talk with you about tonight. I just love talking about right relations. But before I do that, as always, I'm going to start with honoring the ancestors. Yes. And I always start with my teachers, Mali Doman Sabonfu Somé, also my family members, and I invite all of you to join me in invoking and speaking the names of your ancestors that you want to have close to you at this time. And so I'm going to begin this invocation for us right now. Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the one, all that is, may the ancestors hear our prayers. Ancestors, 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 we call out to you in the middle of the second quarter of 2026. And thank you for now guiding us safely through our personal and collective challenges during this momentous water year. Thank you for always granting us access to our higher timeline, where we know that unconditional love is the ultimate reward for our self mastery, and that happy endings are our birthright, which we can learn to experience daily. As we navigate the unknown of 2026, give us easy access to the wisdom we gained last year and enable us to use this wisdom as we enter a new chapter on our never ending journey of self mastery. Enable us to become peaceful citizens and stewards of the new earth, daring greatly to live out our new narratives, and knowing that these are divinely scripted for ourselves and for our world. And most importantly, ancestors, thank you for continuing to enable us to move forth from the dark ages of modernity by placing our heads below our hearts, valuing people over profits, and always choosing love over fear. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I say amen. Ashe Ahoasa, Shinga Bismillah. So it is. Okay. Oh, wow. Here we are. Here we are. Change this around. And I think I got comments because people were saying, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Yeah. I apologize for that. I forgot to just click that off. And I didn't want to have any background noise while the opening music was playing. But anyway, so here we are. This is the month of May. It's an Earth month. And we're in a time of what I'm calling truth and consequences. Yeah. May is again the first Earth month within this final water year of this decade. And since the beginning of May, we've been feeling more conscious of the fact that there truly is cosmic law and that there are real consequences for when we distort that law or attempt to ignore it. In this new era of our collective human evolution and a new chapter of our personal healing and growth, we are starting to appreciate learning how to experience our changes from a place of love, not fear. And to help us successfully navigate through this time, I have declared that our annual theme for 2026 is having our happy endings. And since January, I have been taking you through each of the collective commitments that I put out there. And tonight we are up to the, yeah, it's this one. Honoring right relations. But I want to jump back and just again review for you why I chose the word honoring for these collective commitments. And that's because honor is the metaphysical field in which dignity, truth, and purpose can coexist without distortion. The idea of honoring as an action is to recognize, respect, or dignify someone or something. It's the environment needed for souls to grow and communities to evolve, not by force, but by resonance. Yes. And in the times that we're in, yeah, we need to be much more conscious of the honoring that is needed, and to be able to really integrate it, yeah, into our daily experiences. So we are honoring right relations. And here's what I'd said about them when I introduced this back in January. Right relations, we come to know ourselves most clearly through those who can see us without distortion. Right relations offer that mirror. Having happy endings requires emotional nutrition. And again, this is our fifth collective annual commitment. And my title for tonight is Upgrading Your Relational Field. Yeah. Yeah. How cool is that? Right? Absolutely. So the term right relations um, comes from Indigenous people, Native Americans here, First Nations people. And that's how I first heard it. And so I am going to break that down for you. And then we're going to talk about how it's really an aspirational um, pursuit, can be something that helps you to upgrade all the relationships in your life, but in particularly intimate relationships. Yeah. Hi, Daphne. She says, so cool. Yeah, Emily is here too. Thank you for letting me know, Emily, that you couldn't hear me before. I appreciate it. So, many years ago, when I had the good grace and opportunity to live in North Carolina, I got to be right next to the Cherokee reservation. It's called Qualla. And I have Cherokee ancestors in my background. My great great grandmother was Cherokee of the Eastern Band, as they call it. So I found a quote for you from a wonderful author, teacher, wisdom keeper, counselor who wrote this book called Walking the Wind, which has Cherokee teachings for harmony and balance. And his name is Michael Tlanusta Garrett. And his father, P.J. Garrett, wrote a book too, or they wrote one together as well. But they've been giving out this information about Cherokee wisdom and heritage, which is so wonderful. So Michael says, thus, wellness of the mind, body, spirit, and natural environment is an expression of the proper balance in the relationship of all things. If one disturbs or disrupts the natural balance of relationship, illness in any of the four areas may be the result. This is one of the primary reasons for keeping one's life energy strong and clear in relation to others and the natural environment. Yeah, so cool. Daphne said, I stayed in the koala boundary for like a week. I have that book. All right, all right. It's so wonderful, right? It's very, very powerful, good stuff. Yeah. Thank God for Indigenous wisdom. So here's my overview for you of what I'll be talking about and teaching tonight. First, as I just did, the review of the 2026 collective commitments, honoring and about right relations. Then I'm going to talk about understanding right relations according to ancient indigenous teachings. Then I'll talk about the postmodern relational field, 6 elements for upgrading. And then I will give you contemplative exercise to determine what needs upgrading in your relationships. Ashe. So here we go with understanding right relationships according to ancient indigenous teachings. Yeah, like really take that in that this information has been around for thousands of years. So, according to ancient indigenous wisdom, human relationships are right when they exist in harmony and balance with the universe, meaning they have reverence for life and the ability to support the wellness of mind, body, spirit, and the natural environment. The universe is exact in its sacred rhythms for our existence. And when we forget or challenge that, we disturb and disrupt our relational field, which results in illness and disease in mind, body, spirit, and the natural environment. Yeah. So there was this awareness that we really are trying to get back to people who are into let's save the planet, people who recognize that global warming isn't just what happens every several thousand years, that we've contributed to it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get back into balance and harmony with the universe, with the sacred rhythms of this earth. Yeah. So here's the basics of right relations. Right relations is an aspirational way to connect with yourself and others. Right relations doesn't have to be taught, it has to be remembered and practiced. Because remember, I said this has been going on for thousands of years. Yeah. Right relations is an experience that is accessed through the loving heart, which awakens the soul and grows human capacity to experience those happy endings I keep talking to you about on a daily basis. Yeah, definitely. And Daphne says to Emily, I know, right? It was a cultural immersion class that I took. Yeah, how cool is that? Yeah, and just when you get to be around, an indigenous situation, like to get to a First Nations living space environment, you can feel like, okay, there's something different going on here, like in Africa, India, so many places around the globe, New Zealand. And so it's important we remember that and understand that. So this idea again of right relations doesn't have to be taught, it has to be remembered and practiced. Because here's a vocabulary of right relations: loving, kindness, loving kindness, compassion, caring, supportive, inclusive, accepting, respectful, understanding, benevolence, generosity, thoughtfulness, validation, warmth, friendliness, consideration, altruism, tenderness, gentleness, patience, empathy, harmony, and peacefulness. Imagine that, right? Yeah. Like this is just what is in us. Okay. We come born full, understanding this vocabulary of how to relate to ourselves and others, and that this is the aligned way. This is the sacred way. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. And we're in a time right now where this is forgotten, ignored, or twisted into actually being something bad. It's so it's so amazing. Yeah. But let's go on. I want to talk to you about the postmodern relational field. Back in the day, as human beings, relationships were really rooted in survival. I could not exist without other people helping with food, shelter, clothing, warmth when it got cold, medicines, and that meant that we didn't put an emphasis or attention on the more of what being a human being is about, mostly because we didn't have the time. So here we are in the postmodern world where we no longer have to go to a well like my mother did and pump in order to have some water to drink. Um, there were no supermarkets. This was back in 1930s. There were no supermarkets. Most of your food had to be, handled, grown, or you got it from a farmer, but then you had to take that food and process it. And you had to cook and over a wood stove, you know. There was no refrigeration. People don't realize that refrigeration is new. And so most of your time was really spent in survival. And so when you got into an intimate relationship, that was also about survival. And it was very transactional, like the husband was, I'll take care of the animals and make sure we have shelter, and anything that needs to happen externally, I will handle that. And for the wife, it was, okay, if you take care of that, then I will take care of the children and I'll take care of food production and food preparation and food storage and make textiles so that we have food to wear, clothes to wear. So again, it was very much that survival and transactionality in terms of how you relate it. What's love got to do with it? Because you can love somebody, but if they don't know how to take care of the animals, there ain't nothing they can do for you if you're a woman. And then if you're a man and this is a person who can't have children, oh, there's a big problem with that, or who doesn't know how to cook, right? So I point all that out because I I know that our consciousness as humans has evolved, but this conditioning of how to be in relationship, how to relate to people, hasn't evolved to the degree that we really needed to evolve. And that's why there's so many divorces. That's why there's so many, relationships that are short term, don't know how to become long term, not supposed to be long term, you know. But it's not even about the timing. It's about whether or not the relationship is fulfilling. And again, like I said, I'm going to focus on intimate relationship, but this has to do with friendship, has to do with family, it has to do with coworkers, has to do with neighbors, you know. Um, we're at a point where our relational field has gone beyond just survival. And so I'm going to talk to you about some elements that we now have to think about because of who we now are, because of what we now know. And most importantly, because of what we now want to experience in relationship. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, I'm really forgetting a lot of things tonight. I just see my computer telling me, "You forgot to plug us in." Okay, there we go. Goodness. So, here we go with 6 elements for upgrading your relational field, meaning moving it out of just being about survival and transactionality, moving it up from just being about 3D lower timeline attention, right? So, for our postmodern world, here's what's going to support right relationships that have all of those wonderful vocabulary words I just said to you in it: caring, patience, empathy, compassion. Yeah. So, here's the 6 elements that we need to focus on. One is emotional intelligence, and that's related to our first collective commitment, which is about honoring vulnerability, choosing compassion and vulnerability versus judgment, shame, or blame. Number 2, moral intelligence, doing the right thing, choosing truth over comfort. 3, social intelligence, and this relates to honoring the golden rule, treating others with respect, acceptance, and discernment, meaning we're not supposed to put ourselves into a position where we can be taken advantage of. That's why codependency just doesn't work. And 2 more comments I want to share. Tracy is saying hello. Hello to all. Hi, Tracy. And then my friend who is in London, where it's almost midnight, says, "Hello, hello." She has the most delicious British accent. One time I have to have her on here so you all can meet her. Thank you so much, Magella. Love it. So we got these elements. Hold on. I don't think I finished them. I'm sorry. I only gave you 3. Let's keep going. There's 2 more. Spiritual intelligence, which is about honoring the higher timeline, which I talked about last month. Choosing to stay aligned with a greater order and direction, not of this dimension, also known as your God, right? And then self mastery, your commitment to transforming versus transferring your pain. Yeah. And so those are the 6 areas. There's a couple of more, but I cut it down. I want to overwhelm you. But these ones I think we can get a good handle around. And you can see here that, they're very different from back in the day when we were an agricultural society or even nomadic society. We didn't think about social intelligence. It's like, no, everybody knew you gotta build a fire, you gotta build a hut, you gotta get to the water, get some, so we can drink. This all very much rooted in survival mentality. But now we're into this place where we want to experience ourselves as humans more lovingly and not have to be at war all the time, right? Like Europe was for a very, very long time. So let me take you into now the postmodern relational field elements that I'm going to take you through an exercise so that you can see, okay, where am I at? Where am I at in terms of my relationship experience? What am I understanding? What am I not understanding? Where am I still being transactional? Thinking that I'm being deep heart loving? Yeah. Because this is stuff we don't get taught. It hurts my heart because teenagers need to know this. They need to be given this so that they don't, set themselves up for what is not going to be fulfilling and not bringing happy endings. Yeah. So here are the elements for the postmodern relational field. What I said before was, again, what's required, the intelligences that are required. But here are the different areas that we're going to go into. 1, purpose of the relationship. Again, when it was survival mode, That was the purpose. I'm getting in a relationship because I need to survive. I'm clear, you know. And I'm talking about food, shelter, and clothing, you know. Today, there are more options. Yes, does this still exist? You know, the survival mode for people, even people in quote unquote, you know, modern culture living? Yeah, it does, but it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to. We really can evolve and have evolved out of the purpose of a relationship being about our survival. So the second relational field element is emotions. Yes, that we can actually be conscious of and considerate of our emotions and someone else's. That's the emotional intelligence piece. Nervous system experience. Imagine that. Yeah, that we have to consider how the relationship is actually, you know, supporting our wellness or destroying it. Role and destiny and purpose, you know. Now that humans are more waking up to the fact that we're not animals, that we have these gifts, talents, and abilities that are supposed to be for making the world a better place. So we do think about what is our role and our destiny beyond just I'm here to, you know, survive. Soul contract reality. Yeah, we have much more access to and understanding of that. I didn't just get born into this family for no reason, that I'm a cycle breaker. I am here to bring the experience of the family learning something new, something different that is going to grow us, to grow our souls, right? And then last but not least, fulfillment and belonging. Yes. Again, in survival mode, you do not think about that. You really don't. But now we're at a point where, you know, it's just not enough to have food, clothing, and shelter. There's something more that I yearn for. There's something more I long for. Yeah. And the belonging here is deeper than, you know, this is my blood relationship, or this is the neighborhood I belong to, or this is the church I belong to. When I'm talking belonging here, I'm talking about the experience of really, truly being acknowledged, included, and validated in your existence by those around you. Yeah, it's really powerful. So the relational field, it's going to either anchor you to your higher timeline, right relations, or it pulls you out of it. And I call those inadequate relationships. Because, you know, we are here to heal, grow, and evolve. And so there are times when we need to be in an inadequate relationship in order to learn, oh, this ain't right. Yeah. So I didn't want to say wrong relationship. No, it's just it's inadequate. It's not enough. It's not going to bring you to the level of fulfillment and belonging that you really want to experience. Yeah. So get out your notebooks, get out your pen, put your thinking cap on. I'm going to take you through some statements of the difference between a right relations versus an inadequate one from a transactional and lower timeline, higher timeline relationship. Um, no judgment in this, okay? What we're just talking about is how do we upgrade? How do I go from the lower, which it can work, you know, and for many people it has does. But if you are part of this movement toward becoming a self master and living your best life, happy endings daily, then you definitely want to upgrade out of the lower timeline, the transactional relationships. the survival mentality relationships. Yeah. So here we go. Let's look into this. All right. Number one, purpose of the relationship. If it's transactional, lower timeline, here's what you may be experiencing. Seeks relief, validation, protection, or escape from pain. Trauma bonds, meaning, oh, okay, you were victimized by your parents and I was too. Yeah. Dependency or mutual distraction. Very interesting. Also, unconscious contracts. I love this one. Don't abandon me and I won't evolve past you. Yeah, let's take that in. And you can think about, is this what I'm experiencing currently or what I have experienced? And you can focus on an intimate relationship, but you can also focus on a coworker experience. Um, you can focus on a family situation, whatever works for you. But the idea here is, again, let's discern, you know, what really can grow my experience of the relationship because I want to be in that right relations energy. Yeah. So in the deep heart higher timeline, here's the difference. It seeks growth, witnessing, resonance, and shared purpose. See, it's interdependent. Mutual empowerment in service of each other's soul growth. Oh, I just love that. Conscious contract. I support your evolution and you support mine. Very nice. And remember too that right relations are aspirational, you know, um, and we're not perfect, but it gives us something that we want to aspire to. We want to work toward. We want to get to that level, where you have this agreed contract of, yeah, we're going to help each other evolve and support each other in our truth. Absolutely. Imagine that in a job, right? Yeah. I had that one time. Okay, maybe two times. But when I first started working, yeah, I had a coworker who was my, you know, um, administrator, person I reported to, who really, really knew how to mentor and support and want me to grow into the best version of myself. Absolutely. Yeah. So here's the emotional landscape. Transactional lower timeline. Dysregulation, that means the behavior is out of control and you can't figure out how to control it. And it's not good behavior, it's negative behavior. Reactivity, no responding, just everything trauma, drama. And unspoken resentments. Ooh. Emotional suppression or emotional flooding. Fear-driven bonding patterns, okay? Abandonment, rejection, and scarcity. Then in the deep heart higher timeline, it's about emotional honesty, curiosity, and repair, meaning easily able for there to be apology and forgiveness practiced. Co-regulation and shared emotional resilience. Ah, music to my ears. And safety that allows vulnerability without collapse. Yeah. Vulnerability without collapse. Very powerful. Next, that nervous system experience in the transactional lower timeline. Hypervigilance, right? Always looking out, got to have eyes behind your head, under your chin, hyper vigilant, cortisol levels just off the chain. Tension and performance. Performance. Again, in that survival mode. I've just got to do, what needs to be done to survive, or to keep up with the Joneses, whatever. But it's not being authentic, it's performance. Exhaustion from managing impressions and performance. Yeah. The body cannot rest. In the deep heart higher timeline, rest, humor, softness, and somatic ease. Yeah, it's like you wake up in the morning and you want to be around this person. The body feels seen, welcomed, and at home. Play is natural, welcomed, and consistent. Yeah, not just at Christmas time or some holiday or vacation, right? All the time. Role in destiny and purpose in the transactional lower timeline. Destiny is delayed or diverted. Wow. Gifts are minimized or hidden. Relationship is organized around survival, not purpose. But in the deep heart higher timeline, destiny is accelerated and refined. Gifts acknowledged and invited into circulation and contribution. Relationship becomes part of calling, not a distraction from it. Wow. Simply, simply beautiful. Number 5, the soul contract reality. In the transactional lower timeline, it's unconscious karmic entanglements. Yeah. It's like repeating your mama or daddy's pain and suffering, your grandmama's pain and suffering, granddaddy's pain and suffering, it's that kind of experience. Like you're caught up in a loop of known ancestral wounds. Yeah. Old patterns, old scripts, old wounds replayed. But in the deep heart, higher timeline, this is conscious, collaborative contracts. Yeah. You have a voice in it. Co creation instead of co traumatization. And the future is invited in, not feared. Imagine that. And then the final one, fulfillment and belonging. In the transactional and lower timeline, loneliness inside the relationship. Mm. Belonging negotiated through self abandonment. Yeah, let me just say that one again. Belonging negotiated through self abandonment, meaning you have to give away your power in order to belong. And fulfillment blocked by unspoken agreements. But in the deep heart, higher timeline, genuine belonging without shrinking. Yeah, you do not give your power away. Fulfillment emerges through contribution and witnessing. That's somebody holding space, acknowledging, holding space, giving you the attention for and deserved attention for who and what you are. Family, friends, and community are woven into the fabric of the relationship. Yeah, amazing. Really wonderful. And so here's my closing words for you on this. In summary, right relations is what we aspire to through consciously and unconditionally loving ourselves. Self love is a daily responsibility, not an indulgence. We are human and imperfect, but we have the power to shift from hating to loving ourselves more deeply every day. Ashe. Wow. And there you have it. There you have it about right relations. And let me share with you my quote from Miss Sarah for this month. And Mama Sarah says this week, life always supports us in where we prefer to be. Life always supports us in whatever changes we prefer to make. Ashe. Yeah. Tracy says, woo, a word. This is a very timely message. Yeah. Yeah, this is deep. It's right on time, right? Yeah. And so, my dears, I hope that this information will be very helpful to you. I hope it opens up a curiosity in you or an aspiration in you to upgrade your relationships. Take your time with it, no rush, but take at least one thing that's in that lower timeline transactionality that you want to upgrade into the deep heart. Yeah, right relations, higher timeline. Mhm, absolutely. Emily says, "This is right where I've been." Wonderful, wonderful. And I know you're talking about that timely message. Yeah, yeah. Um, So, closing out, as always, I want to thank all my regular watchers and listeners, all of those of you who have wisdom walk with me and you know who you are, to my family here in the Midwest, my chosen family, and to my blood family in New York, Florida, North Carolina, and chosen family out on the West Coast, to my spiritual kin and my medicine brothers and sisters around the world, and to those who may be watching or listening in for the first time, I want to say thank you. Big thank you. I couldn't do this without you and your willingness to listen and watch. I'm so grateful to be of service to you in this way, and I thank you for your commitment to self mastery. Yeah. Emily says, relearning, learning how to be in the right relationship with myself. Yes, my darling, because that's where it has to start, right? Has to start with us loving ourselves and discerning. Yeah. And that's what those contemplative questions I put to you, the statements that I shared with you are about to help you really, really love yourself enough to upgrade in how you are relating to yourself and to others. Yeah. So here's what's upcoming for June with my live streams. I will do astrology for self mastery on June 14th and the 28th, which those will be close to the new moon and then to the full moon. Elemental wisdom for May, I will live stream on Thursday, sometime in the afternoon, maybe around 12 o'clock my time on Thursday, June the 4th. And the Wisdom Walk talk will be on Sunday, June 21st. And I just love when I get to do Wisdom Walk Talk after I've introduced all five of the collective um, commitments, because then it's time to say, okay, how's it going? What's happening here? Yeah, that's always fun. And share my experience, my story, what I'm working on. Yeah. Just some promos for you from my dear friends and for my dear friends. Queen Reverend Adara with her Heart for Healing service on the first and third Wednesday of every month, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Absolutely free. You can donate and you can get the information you need at her website, spiritismylife.com. Click on events and you'll get access to that Zoom. Yeah, it's wonderful. And a shout out to Juanita Robertson and Amy Houghton. By the way, Juanita is right now on a plane to London to do some work. Magello, if she had more time, I wanted her to connect with you, but another time. I'm sure she's going to be going back. And this is just to promote their book, The Innerground Railroad, 40-Day Journey to Remembering Soul and Spirit, which also uses the Dagra medicine wheel to help with healing of ancestral wounds. Available Amazon, Kindle, Walmart, Abe's Books, and other online booksellers. And of course, always a shout out about my book, The Wisdom Walk to Self Mastery. The second book is in progress, slowly but surely. And it's also available online and through Amazon Kindle, Age Books, and other sellers. Yeah. And last but not least, I want to thank my God, my ancestors, my spirit guides, loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky, my feet to the ground, and my heart open to do this work with and for all of you. Now, have a healthy and a safe mineral week that we're in that started Thursday, remembering and acting on your higher purpose. Continue to strengthen your immune system. We got this hunter virus going around. They don't know what to do with it. Keep your immune system really, really tight. Take care of yourself. Get good rest. Eat good food. Protect your nervous system by praying for others rather than taking on their pain. Also, doing what the monk said, don't react, respond. And most importantly, my darlings, I want you to really, really remember that you are not disposable. Why is that? It's because you are divine. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you again very soon. Good night now. You're so welcome, Tracy. Much love to you. Much love to you, Emily, as well. Thank you.